Hello. Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's the real Armchair Detective. How is everyone tonight? Would like to say Happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers out there. And for all of us single people like me, I don't know what. Hope you fall out of the bed tonight. Anyways, I just wanted to talk to you a minute about. Hello, Dawn. Uh, Today's the anniversary that my dad passed away. He died on Valentine's Day in 1997. So I'll always celebrate this day if I have a significant other, but I'm always kind of down on this day too. Just to mention that. Now, there's a few things I want to go over with you guys about what AD keeps doing with this case, and which is sensationalizing it. Oh, by the way, we're supposed to get 6 to 12 inches of snow now here. So we're liable to be snowed in tomorrow. Some of the things that, for instance, these pictures that they show where it looks like, or where it doesn't look like to me, I never have seen anything when they show these pictures and videos. But when they say they actually see NK there, and NK is holding a child, and you can see their legs, and blah, 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 somebody flickers lights, this, that, and the other. You can see anything if you look at something long enough with the intentions of wanting to see it. Once they get so zoomed in on it and everything, it's so pixelated and just so cloudy that they say they see this. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see anything. Maybe I'm blind, but I just don't see these things. But like I said, if you look at anything long enough. Now, going back, AD had a guest on tonight named Josh, and he seemed very knowledgeable. He did. I won't take that away from him. And his family's been in the oil business since the 1970s. I can't compete with that whatsoever. I did, however, work at a coal-fired power plant for 3 years. They talked about the honor system with clocking in and clocking out. More people are clocking in on their smartphone today because of COVID-19. They don't want you crowded at a time clock. So there's a lot of people, even at places where they show up, actually on site to work, that they still clock in on their smartphone because they don't want the crowding at the time clock. They want the social distancing and everything like that. Don, that what they said was her purse was actually Chris Watt's hand going over. Now, I tell you something that really was interesting to me, where they looked at it long enough. I did end up seeing what looked like a Walmart smiley face in CW's wheel, in his back wheel. So anyway, with my experience at the power plant, it really depends on the severity of the leak. AD keeps saying that there's no way in the world they would have let a leak go till Monday. That's not necessarily true. When you work at a big industry like a power plant or an oil company, the main thing you want to do is, if there is a leak, first you want to contain the leak or the spill. You want as little as possible to get into the ground, because that's when the EPA has to become involved. The EPA, being a government company, can levy fines, penalties, other things, and that's what you don't want. You don't want the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, you don't want them involved with your company if you don't have to have them. So what you want to do is contain this leak. If it's a small leak and you can contain it where there's no seepage into the ground, anything like that, And it can be, and you can wait until Monday to fix the leak. It's very possible that they done that. Um, so that's just something to say about that. It really just depends on the size of the leak. Um, most tanks, batteries, like we're at Survey 319, these companies spend a lot of money to have sensors and gauges on these tanks that can be read from remote locations. So, for instance, if it's a really small leak, they're going to have a way to read the pressure in that tank and other important data from that tank from a remote location. There's going to be like a control room somewhere. And in this control room, they're going to be able to monitor gauges for all these oil batteries they have throughout Colorado. He also asked the question, this guy, Josh, do oil companies have a lot of leverage when it comes to getting things done? Of course they do. Oil companies and pharmaceutical companies put more money into elections than any other industries in this country. So, for instance, if Anadarko, and this is just an example, let's just say with the past presidential election, let's say they had gave $10 million to Donald Trump to get reelected, and Donald Trump had got reelected. Well, there's going to come a time when Anadarko says, hey, you know what, I need a favor. And do you remember that time I gave you that $10 million? So there is a lot of leverage. It's almost unfair leverage that these companies can have these lobbyists that go up there and they're able to leverage these elected officials to get certain things done in their favor. So without a doubt, they absolutely can have things swayed. Okay, so that's just a few things. Now, one other thing I want to go over is he keeps saying that NK, Nicole Kessinger, was the one over this leak or responsible for this leak being reported. That's not true. A health and safety person, they're kind of like the person that keeps track of injuries and incidents. For instance, if there's been more lacerations to the hand this week than there is in normal weeks, then the monthly safety meeting might be in reference to hand lacerations. They keep track of incidents, near incidents, injuries being just something that required first aid or something that required lost time. The person actually had to be off work. That's what a health and safety person does. They're not the person that's notified when there's a leak in the oil field. That's just not how it works. Okay. They're the person that keeps track of all this data of injuries, and they also might take care of FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act, paperwork, anything along those lines. They're the health and safety engineer. Also, if, say, for instance, this leak had caused an explosion, NK would have probably been part of the investigation as the health and safety division of this investigation. So him saying that is absolutely false. There's no truth to that whatsoever. That's just not true. And one of the reasons I'm saying this is when you're a real detective, you want to eliminate things, simplify the case, and the simpler you break down the case, the easier it is going to be to solve. When you add 300 conspiracy theories to a case, then you're going to eventually have to eliminate them. For instance, right now, we've got NK in possibly 4 different locations on the early morning hours of the murder, which, unless she's been cloned, is, as we all know, impossible. So, and there's a reason for this. He sensationalizes this case for money. It's just like a drama TV show. If there's not drama, you guys are not going to, not, I'm not saying you guys in general, I'm talking about his subs. They're not going to come back the next day. It's because if you noticed at the end of his show, he always leaves you with a cliffhanger of tomorrow, of Patreon, what the show's going to be about tomorrow, because he wants to build that intrigue to make sure you're there. If he doesn't make the case interesting where you're going to come back and watch it, you're probably not going to stay a member of Patreon. You're probably not going to stay a paid member of his channel. So he sensationalizes the case for entertainment to draw in money. And this is his job. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Just don't say you're interested in justice and solving this case when your main interest is getting paid, as this is your job, your employment. That's all I'm saying about that. And like I said, I don't have near the experience of AD's guest tonight, 40 years, which wasn't all his experience, but family experience, all in all. But I was in because the power plant is considered an oil industry. We burn fossil fuel, coal. It's a non-renewable energy. So I know a little bit about leaks and how you would handle them. If it's, for instance, we always got off at 3:30 on Friday. If we discover a leak at 2:45, the leak's not that major, and we say, you know what, we can either stay over till 7 o'clock tonight, or we can fix it first thing Monday morning. It would be the severity of it. And he was talking tonight about there being an on-call. The power plant I worked at, in the maintenance department, there was no on-call. You called in either normal guys on overtime hours. These companies look at a lot of different factors, overtime pay to employees being one of them. If the leak can wait till Monday to be fixed, they will wait till Monday to fix it. That's just plain and simple. Here's the deal. The main thing that a company wants is to keep the EPA from getting involved. As long as they can keep the spill, the leak, small enough, and there's a threshold where they have to notify the EPA. If they don't, then a fine or penalty could be larger, to the point of maybe even shutting down the place. So they would have to notify the EPA at a certain threshold. As long as they can keep the EPA from being notified, that's their biggest concern. And the last thing I'm going to say tonight about this is maybe this case is just what it is. CW wanted a new life with his mistress. It's just as simple as that. All these conspiracies are just that, conspiracy theories. Maybe it is just that simple. Now, without going over all that, is there anything you guys would like to talk about? Anything you guys like to go over? Anybody want to come up and talk with me? It makes it a whole lot easier to talk for a while when somebody's up here talking with me. And that's very true, Kennedy's Grace. People join Patreon, and then he puts what's on. It's because they have to know what's happening right then. He's built them up so much during the YouTube show that they can't wait until tomorrow. They have to. I mean, look at their excitement when the show's going on. Oh God, I wish I had the money to join Patreon. And it's just like, oh my gosh. So, I don't know. Hello, Carolyn. And hello to everyone I didn't say hello to when I first come on. But watching the show tonight and the way he has sensationalized this case, I even took a page and a half of notes that I just went over to make sure. Because what I always do is when I'm watching the show, I always think of something. And then where I'm getting older, my brain don't work as good as it used to. And then I forget to talk about it when I'm on my live. So I made notes tonight because I wanted to make sure that I covered everything that I seen wrong with what was being said. And the main thing is what they explain NK's health and safety job as being. They're so off. And Robert Armour says exactly what I believe. His prison confession told exactly what he done. I believe that also. In my opinion, it's what lines up the most consistent with the evidence. Another thing, guys, think about this. AD's theory is he was going to blow up the oil field. Well, if he was going to blow up the oil field, why bury Shanann in a shallow grave? That doesn't make sense. Why put the girls in the oil tanks? What if the explosion didn't destroy the oil tanks? And when the investigation by the EPA and the local authorities, they came out there to do their investigation, they still got 2 oil tanks intact. And they've got 2 children inside of these oil tanks. How are they going to say these children got from being inside the car, which is what he's saying? Shanann came out there to argue with Chris over the charge. She blew up the site, and then the kids got into the oil tanks. That just would not make sense. If you go by and there's channels that have the GPS of exactly where he parked, exactly where he braked, exactly where he put it in reverse, exactly where he had it in drive, the actual feet of where he drove to and from. It shows you exactly what he done that morning. Oh yeah, truth be told, his phone channel, that I was talking about that yesterday. One thing about truth be told about that phone channel is the Heaven or Hell hotline, and I talked about this yesterday that I thought was really funny. He was going to hell to talk to Charles Manson. Well, he traveled there. He had the music playing. Oh, we're traveling. We're going to the depths of hell. And then when he got there, he got on the phone and called him. Now, why travel there if you're going to get on the phone and call them? Wouldn't it make sense to not even travel there if you're going to reach them by telephone? It's like he doesn't use common sense. You know what I mean? And we're supposed to believe that he's this genius detective that has solved this quadruple murder case. No, not in my opinion. He might fool his subs, but there's people like me and people like you that does not fall for it. And that's why we're considered trolls or the hate channel, because knowledge is power. And if we start talking to some of his subs and they start realizing what we realize, then they won't need to go there. Maureen says, hell is where he belongs. Oh my goodness. As you said, he wanted a new life with his girlfriend. He canceled his girls' school. That's my closing statement for what I said tonight. Don Brake, he does this. He's got a new channel called the Heaven and Hell Hotline. And he gets on an old rotary style phone and he pretends to talk to this person through the rotary style phone. For instance, he was supposedly talking to Charles Manson in hell through the heaven and hell hotline. Well, before he put the call through, he pretended like he traveled there. He had music playing and everything, saying he was traveling to the depths of hell. But yet, when he got there to the depths of hell, he pretended that he called him on this rotary phone. I might not be explaining it to the point where you can understand. Yeah, this is serious. You can go look it up. He has this new channel, and he says within months there'll be thousands of subscribers. But he uses an old rotary style phone. For instance, yesterday he talked to Natalie Wood also, and Natalie Wood told him that the guy Robert, whoever guy Robert was, the actor that was with her that night, murdered her. He puts out a lot of serious accusations without, I think, even thinking of the possibility. For instance, the DA Dork, there was a lot of serious accusations thrown out there that he could not probably be. Well, he has a spirit box now too, Don Brake. So perhaps he's confused. He thought the spirits he's talking about is the spirits he's drinking out of the bottle beside him. They are calling Brooke for 9 to 12 inches here now of snow, and possibly 2/10 of an inch of ice before it changes over to full snow. So I guess it's snowing there already. Well, what's funny is when he puts the phone on his chest and talks to his subs, and he tells them what's being said on the phone. Why not just put them on speakerphone? If you're going to pretend, at least pretend they're on speakerphone. Shit. Come on, get up to date, AD, with technology, man. It's a speakerphone. Next, he's going to be faxing hell and faxing heaven. I shouldn't have said that. I've given him a great idea. Well, somebody said that, Don, they said, well, how much do you want to bet that in the next few nights they'll be saying he's talking to Shanann? Yeah, very true, Jan. You got a good point there. Brissy, he gets a lot of names wrong. Broom Hoover. He said he would accept an apology from Dr. Broom Hoover. Because Broom Hoover didn't he didn't have the time to look at the evidence the way AD had the time to look at the evidence. And if you guys want to start calling me the real armchair detective, that's fine. Because shit like that really gets under his skin. And that's what I like doing, is getting under his skin. Yeah, I seen that, truth be told. Detective Dave quit because of AD. I would say Detective Dave has forgotten more in his pinky finger than AD will ever know about being a detective. For instance, like I said earlier, you start eliminating, not adding to. Oh, did he say that on his blog, truth be told? Are you serious about that? I thought you was joking. Truth be told, said Detective Dave quit because of AD. I thought he was joking. But then she says his blog from PTSD. So maybe she's being serious. I thought she was joking. If you're serious, I apologize. Yes, he does have PTSD. I do remember seeing that. What part of Tennessee are you in? Like West Tennessee, Central, or East? Brooke? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. I'm just curious. Yeah, we're supposed to be in the negative temperatures here in a couple nights with all the snow on the ground. My job, I get up for 4:30 in the morning for my job, and we've got an app, and they posted to the app tonight to check at 3:30 in the morning for an update to find out if we have to come to work or not. I'm like, damn, now I got to get up at 3:30 just to check. Last Thursday, I actually got up, worked an hour and a half on getting all the ice off the car, an hour and a half just getting the ice off the car, to drive 5 minutes to work, to be there long enough to tell us we could go back home because they didn't have enough people to run production. That sucked. But we got paid for 4 hours, and I was only there just a few minutes. So, but in all reality, working on the car for an hour and a half, I have to subtract that from it. So really, I got about 2.5 hours paid for nothing. Broncos chick said yes, he did. Don't know what you mean by that, Broncos chick. Let me look. Maybe he said something up. Or you can just tell me what you mean by that. Maybe you're answering somebody else. If so, I apologize. I'm just not sure what you're saying. I thought it was funny also tonight, guys, that his guest, Josh, when he asked him if he could go over to Patreon for about Patreon, if he could go over to Patreon for about 30 minutes. His guest said, well, yeah, I guess I can do that. And he asked his guest, he says, you are a member of Patreon, right? You know why? Because you know if he wasn't a member of Patreon, he was going to make him join before he could come over and be a guest. Isn't that crazy? Truth be told says just read a bit of Reddit. The Watts case pushed him over the edge. Yeah, I did hear that part of it. But I thought you meant he actually quit because of actually Alan Vinicom. And I was going to say, surely I hope not. Oh, yeah. Yes, he did. Dave quit. Yeah, he actually retired. He had enough years in to retire. He was suffering. But could you imagine if this was the last case of your career? That this would drive anybody over the edge. They say there's some of those hazardous material workers that were there that morning that helped with the recovery of the bodies that have still not been able to go back to work since then. And I can imagine that. Just the horridness of that. He had flashbacks when he heard children. Wouldn't that be terrible? Think of, not only is the actual Watts family destroyed here, but the Watts family, the Rusek family. Ronnie and Cindy Watts. People, I see a lot of people blaming them when they're victims, just like everybody else, in my opinion. They lost their grandchildren. The Ruseks are victims. The main victims are Bella and Celeste and Nico. Those are the true victims. And then you've got victims like Dave Broomhoover that has flashbacks of when he hears children. It's just sad, sad, sad all the way around. And then you got guys like AD sensationalizing the case, so people will join Patreon. People will want their name in green, so they pay at least $1.99 a month. And then they want to do super chat. And like I said earlier, what do you have to do to keep people coming back? You have to give it drama. You have to make people want to watch tomorrow's episode. It's like a soap opera. You don't leave people hanging on the edge of the cliff with what you're going to show them tomorrow. New evidence, breaking news. How much breaking news is he? He's got more breaking news than CNN. Chris Watts has destroyed a lot of lives. As see, Donna, I kind of don't think so. I kind of think that I don't know really how I would describe that, but I just wouldn't say that, and that's just my opinion on it. Good night, Emma Jane. God bless you. Um, it's hard to explain why. I think that it's just oh geez, yeah, Brooke. We're supposed to get this storm, and then we're supposed to get another storm Wednesday and Thursday. So, well, Don, I think, and this is just my opinion. I know everybody's going to have their opinion on it, but I think that maybe that story was a little bit exaggerated, hearing it from all sides. And like I said, I respect your opinion. You know, I respect you. You went to battle for me in times when nobody else was. So believe me, I'm not trying to disagree with you. I'm just saying that perhaps that was a little more exaggerated than what we were originally told. And that's just, like I said, my opinion. Hello, Lisa. How are you tonight? Hope all is well. Well, truth be told, if he was talking about the conspiracies, chances are he was talking about Alan Minicombe. Um, AV has sure added more conspiracies than anybody else to this case. Well, I'll explain it to you a little bit, Don. From what I understand is Cindy Watts had taken Shanann and possibly the girls. I can't remember if the girls went or not, but she took Shanann to the grocery store. I guess the night they got in town, and apparently she spent like $350 on food. The special food like the girls and her ate because of the allergies and things like that. I heard that there was ice cream that was bought for the kids that could have it, and then there was a different ice cream that was even more expensive that was bought for Bella and Cece. Now, like I said, this is just what I heard hearsay. You can add it up to what you want, but that one of the girls that could have the just the regular ice cream got one out of the freezer, and what it was in a cup, like one of the little cups. And you know how, like, if you see one little kid with a cup of ice cream, you want that same exact cup. Whether your ice cream's better or not, you want that cup. So what had happened was, what they should have done is just took one of the empty cups, washed it really good, and then put their ice cream that they could eat in that little cup. Well, and then it blew up from there. Now that's how I understand the story to be. I wasn't there, I don't know, so I'm not sure. But that's just what how I took it. And I can remember being a kid. You could have the best ice cream in the world, but if you seen another kid with the ice cream in a cup or on a stick, you just had to have that kind of ice cream. Oh my, bro, that's hard to believe. We're really getting a good winter this winter. Thanks a lot for wishing your snow on your sister. You've really done it. Well, I will say this, guys. On this channel, all opinions are welcome. And if what one person thinks is a monster, the other person might not think is a monster. But I just don't want it to be like that other channel where when somebody disagrees, oh, they're a troll, they're blocked. Your opinion doesn't fit my narrative. You're a troll. So I just don't want it to be like that. I want us to all be able to discuss this case, have our own opinions, and be able to talk about it rationally. You know what I mean? Because if we all come at each other with this mentality of, well, here's what I heard and you're wrong, and the other person says, no, you're wrong. How about we all come together and find a medium and let's all talk about our point of views. What do you think happened? Well, here's what I think happened. Now, what do you think happened? Chances are when people talk and they communicate, we live in a world where there's no communication anymore. And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about just in general. Um, I mean, look at our last election here in the United States. Our country is almost divided right down the middle, 80 million to 75 million, one way or the other. And I don't know. That's just my opinion on it, guys. I think that we can all just, right, truth be told, said opinion is just that, trying to change someone's opinion. It's not a fact, it's opinion. Um, I think a lot of the discovery is the police or the investigator's opinion and not exactly fact. You know, there's a lot about this case that just doesn't make sense. And that's on a lot of channels. For instance, the house being turned over to the defense after 4 hours. I mean, you don't even see that on a TV. The house was turned over quicker than it is on an hour-long CSI TV show on TV. Well, thank you, Brooke. That's so nice of you to give me a blizzard for Valentine's Day. I would really like a blizzard from Dairy Queen, though. You could have gave me that. When I asked you for a blizzard, Brooke, I didn't mean an actual blizzard. I meant a cookie dough blizzard. But thank you. It's the thought that counts. Thank you. I love you too. Just come on live and laugh for me a little bit. And Robert Armour says debate is healthy. It really is. Even a Reese's Pieces blizzard would have been good. Not an actual blizzard. Lori says, and that's exactly why you should do your own crime channel, Braun. I don't know. The true crime community is just, oh my goodness. It's a lot of drama. I'd rather be in entertainment. I'd rather be on a talk show circuit where we can all just come together and talk. I don't have a lot of time anymore, guys. As you obviously can tell, I don't get to come on much anymore at all. Yeah, you know, like sometimes on the weekends, and if I get off work early after the day. Now I might be on tomorrow and Tuesday because we might not have any work. And then again, I might not have electricity and I might not be on. So I guess it just depends. I guess if I don't have electricity, I could get in my car and charge my phone on in the car and do a live from the car. Maybe I can drive around on a live with my camera forward and just show you guys the storm that's hitting. Yes, Mama, go live. Your daughter wants you to go live. Do you have any pictures or anything of the snow or anything yet, Brooke? Bryn says anything out of AD's big mouth, I don't believe. Yeah, me neither. He sensationalizes the case. I'll tell you this, Lisa. If it was 12:37 a.m. here, I would be in bed. But I have to be up at 4:30 a.m. So that makes a big difference too. I think I still have your email. I don't know if I have your other contact info. Bryn says he or she, I can't tell by the name, so please don't be offended. They don't live far from DQ. So basically, what I'm gathering from that, Bryn, is you're going to DQ and buy for everybody. Is that what I'm getting for that? And Broncos chick says it's -4 in Colorado Springs. Hmm. Well, Lisa, AD is talking to several serial killers on his Heaven and Hell phone lately. He has his own Heaven and Hell phone channel now, where he talks to these people on an old rotary style phone. It would be really hilarious to me, guys, if AD released all these spirits into his flat and then has a big dilemma he has to deal with. Well, Brooke, if you was here, I would call in from work, just saying. Then we could do a live together. Good night, truth be told. Get you some sleep. Take care. Hawthorne Ferry, I thought the same thing. He acted like he creamed his pants when he thought he was talking to CW or was going to talk to CW. And I had the same reaction. It's almost like he was like a little schoolgirl that his crush had written him a letter and folded it up all nice and neat. And when you see that, it just made your day. Well, that's the feeling I got when he lied. I mean, revealed that he was going to be getting letters from Christopher. And Mo Girl, I believe he is. Ooh, ice cream cake. That's really good. Well, the thing about it is AD flip flops. He'll say on his show, hashtag Shania is innocent. But then in the same show, he talks about how he's helping Chris file his 35C and how he's been working with the Watts family for weeks. On my own contact with the Watts family, right? I unsubscribed from AD a long time because he just kept disrespecting Shanann's family, Shanann and girls when Shanann dad asked everyone to stop the case, Agreve AD didn't believe it was him. Oh, he knew it was him. JA, have you looked into the missing boys from California City? This case is tugging on my heartstrings. I've looked into it a little bit, but not much. I don't believe the two boys ever made it to California City, in my opinion. And Robert Armour says Chrissy ran off with the book and the bodyguard. Yeah, she dumped old Dylan and said, "Good boy." That bodyguard took one look at those DSLs and said, "Come on, hon, you've got that book, seen money signs in those lips," and said, "You're coming with me." He's also said that he, you know, has gotten a post office. It's almost like he'll get on one subject and then it's like he thinks everybody else, will forget about it too. Like he hasn't mentioned anything. He has so I don't know. No, of course. But the thing of it is his subs don't see it yet. See, us guys, we can see it, but they can't yet. Some of them will eventually see it, and some of them won't. Some of them will be patrons for life. You know, I the way he talks to some of his chat participants of opinion, he welcomes debate. She had a difference of opinion last night. He labeled her a troll and said she was gone. Oh, yeah, Brian. The Watts aren't talking to him either. CW's not talking to him. The Watts aren't talking to him. And the Ruseks aren't talking to him. But he's got supposedly 60,000 people that believe what he says. And if you guys have noticed, when he starts talking about trolls picking on him and things like that, hate channels attacking him, and he's being gang stalked and things, this, that, and other. Have you ever noticed how the super chats start rolling in when he puts on his little pity party for himself, what he's going through? There is a YouTube channel that put up a documentary and has a woman having an autopsy. It is not Shanann. I thought he was great at first. Then he got too excited about the attention he was getting. To me, it's about a lovely mother and her innocent children and the worst murder I have heard of. He's all the time with this pity party of what people are doing to him and what people are doing to his family. But yet he never what he's doing to other people, and the fact that the family that he's talking about on a daily basis has asked him not to. I'm surprised AD hasn't been sued yet. And I'd say it's coming. It's just a matter of time. Especially with the accusations and stuff he's made towards DA Rourke as a parody. You know, when I did a parody of him, he sent me and Laxcalia a cease and desist letter. He actually sent me one and also to my employer. But yet, when he does a parody of DA, here's the thing: when I did my parody, I said exactly what he had said on his show. Oh, and I was a terrible person. Yet I just mocked him. If there's a cover up, he's been paid off by a senator. Anadarko's paid off Rourke. Rourke's having an affair with his secretary. He calls his wife, can't come home tonight, honey. I'm going out with my secretary. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before he gets sued or he releases some sort of evil spirit with his spirit box, and he will deserve every ounce of what he's by doing it. He brings it on himself. I just hope, he's let us watch every aspect of his life for 2.5 years. I just hope when the shit hits the fan, he puts that on Patreon or YouTube and lets us watch. That will get a lot of views, my friends. The real AD, the bearded detective. Well, I've been on for about an hour, guys, and I have to get up at 4:30 for work, or at least until they tell me it's canceled. Yeah, Beaumont Girl says he is eventually going to lose his YouTube. I got that feeling. He already lost his monetization on one channel. Now, how he has another channel that's monetized, I don't know. He's done something fishy there. I believe it's a channel in somebody else's name. I could be wrong. Maybe you're allowed to have another channel that's monetized when, monetization has been taken away from you as a penalty. So who knows? But, everything comes out in the wash, as my preacher used to say. It'll come out in the wash. But you guys have a good night. Thank you for joining me. If you didn't watch the first of this live, I think I put out a pretty good bit of information just with my experience working at a power plant and what I know a health and safety person is responsible for at any job. Any company in this day and time will tell you, regardless of whether that is the real culture there or not, that the main culture at their company is safety. So pretty much everybody at every company sees their health and safety person on a regular basis. Most companies do monthly safety meetings, and that safety meeting is usually held by the health and safety person. What Nicole Kessinger, through another company, but she was the, that person that was in charge of that. Bren, it was Alan Vinicombe that sent me and Lex Gallia the cease and desist letters. And they were just some generic thing he had printed off the internet. It wasn't nothing official, anything like that. It said we had caused him stress and panic and ruined his reputation. Just a whole bunch of malarkey. A whole bunch of bollocks. So, but anyway, guys, if you're anywhere, I know this storm is covering like most of the country. So if you're in the path of this winter storm, stay safe, stay warm, take care of each other. And hopefully, if I've got electric and I get off early enough tomorrow night, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. But you guys have a good night. Take care.